People, what we might have on our hands right now with the latest chapter of One Piece 1025. This might be one of the most iconic moments of the series. We might be entering one of the most important, if not the most important, fights of the series of One Piece right now. Oh my gosh, we gotta talk about it, people, because this chapter of One Piece, we have just embarked on a whole new level of epicness at the same time with hilarity amongst it all. And I'm gonna try to keep my bias and also separation between what we're talking about here with the manga and the anime, because I've been catching up with the anime as of right now. I'm like 2 episodes or 3 episodes behind, and I gotta keep them differentiated because I'm gonna have a whole other video talking about the anime at some point here in the future. But the manga craziness going on right now. Wano is gonna go down as probably one of the best arcs of One Piece, definitely one of the best of the time skip. But man, yo, Momonosuke, the character development is real. The big battle is here. Yamato, we gotta clap it up for Yamato. Gotta clap it up for Usopp, even though it was a cover page, but we gotta do that too. Like, oh, there's just so much to say. I guess without further ado, people, let's talk a little bit of that One Piece. Y'all know what it is. Greatness! Shall we do it, lads? I think we shall. Let's go.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Yes, people, we are finally here. It looks like this is, like I've said already for a few weeks now, this is the true final, the true finale, the true climax that we've been waiting for. We're finally here. But I want to start off from the top because it started off with a hilarious but epic at the same time cover page of Usopp, and it's basically of, I believe it's like an octopus telling the stories of the lies of Usopp and shit like that. And Usopp is looking like, I ain't gonna lie, looking kind of badass. He's looking like a pirate king right there as he's there dressed for the occasion, so to speak. And I digged that cover page. I ain't gonna lie, kind of looked like Usopp pre-time skip in a way. But moving forward, it looks like Luffy is starting to get to a different stratosphere. Like before, we used to say Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro. Now it's looking more like it's Luffy and then Zoro and Sanji. You know what I'm saying? It's not looking like they're the big 3 anymore. It's looking like there's the big one and then the 2 that come right under him, which is supposed to be, at the end of the day, Luffy's the captain. I would like for there to still be a big 3 in One Piece, and I would like for that 3, the 3rd spot, to be Usopp. Every lie he's ever told has pretty much been starting to come to fruition, from the 8,000 soldiers, all of this other jazz. I would like for Usopp to also be a part of that big 3, if not even be, surpass them in some ways. Maybe he has a haki that is just like unknown to anybody, even further than the Conqueror's haki or some shit. That would be insane. But either way, I would like for, if there is no longer going to be, let's just say, the big 3 of Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, I would like for there to still be a big 3 of Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp. I know people are like, yo, that's the weak one. Why are you even hyping up Usopp over cover page? Because I can, okay? I don't know. I've always been an Usopp fan. Usopp's always been my favorite Straw Hat. Him and Robin. Robin did her thing too recently. Like, yo, shit, man. One Piece greatness, but let's carry on. But the chapter begins with Luffy basically telling Momo, like, yo, let's get a move on things. Let's fly. However, don't forget that Momo has had a fear of heights. Like, we've seen it already time and time again, from even when Kanjuro kidnapped him and he was just there crying because he was scared of a lot of different things. Hey, I'm kidnapped, but also, his fear of heights, which is absolutely hilarious. Classic One Piece stuff that, even though shit is getting epic, shit is getting real, he just aged up 100 billion years. No, not 100 billion. What was it, 28 years or something like that? He just aged up a ton. And the big thing is that even though he's this ferocious looking freaking dragon, he's scared of heights. So he's kind of scared to take off, so to speak. And that shit is just hilarious. On top of that, he hasn't even really had time to practice this power, which is going to make it even more interesting. Like, imagine if Momonosuke just had a couple weeks to, at the very least, refine, hey, I have this big fucking dragon body now or some shit. Like, you don't even got time to do that. So we're going in blind, fighting Kaido with these newfound abilities. And again, this is probably going to be the final climactic clash with Luffy. And now, as we're progressing more into it, and now that Momonosuke is a part of it, again, I'm almost completely sold that there's not going to be no more rematches. If there is, it'll feel a little bit ridiculous. But also, it seems like Oda was really waiting for a moment to have Momonosuke be a part of this, which is rightfully so. Like, when I watched the anime recently, and I finished off the flashback and stuff, and just seeing Momonosuke then and now, which we'll get to it, his character development, it was rightfully so that he would be the one, the Kozuki bloodline, to avenge his father. How it happened is kind of wacky with Shinobu, aging him up a bit and shit like that, but it was rightfully so. It wasn't just supposed to be Luffy by himself. Don't get me wrong, One Piece is the adventure of Luffy and shit like that, but with everything we've experienced with Wano, it had to also have Momonosuke, so it's just hilarious. He's there like a big oaf, like, oh shit, I'm too scared. And it's also hilarious that Shinobu and the Law Pirates are there just watching, like, quiet as hell, like, yo, this motherfucker, he's serious right now, right? But then we cut to Kaido and Yamato following their clash that they just had at the end of last chapter. And I ain't gonna lie, that fight, it's really freaking intense. And you gotta give props to Yamato. Like, just think about it for a second. How many people in the series, even all of the scabbards together, really wasn't, they did their thing and they managed to do a little bit to Kaido, but they wasn't compared to one person, his child at that is keeping him at bay. Like, yo, you gotta give props to Yamato, and also really demonstrates and exemplifies the level of strength we're gonna have with Yamato, assuming that Yamato becomes the next Straw Hat that a lot of people are expecting and hoping for. That's some incredible strength to add to the crew. It's not like a weakling, not to say that like, Jinbei or anybody, well, early on, of course, people say the weak trio and shit like that, but like, we're adding an incredible amount of strength, similar to how Roger added an incredible amount of strength and Whitebeard added an incredible amount of strength when they added Odin. Don't forget, Yamato still goes by, no, I'm Odin, motherfucker. And also, it's interesting to note that Kaido is a little bit bloody from the forehead, and yeah, Yamato's skin is cracking. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm just impressed that Yamato is still standing. Fuck all the skin cracking. Yeah, I'm shocked you're still alive, you know what I'm saying? And you bloodied, Kaido, you're the shit right now. You are Odin, baby. You embodying everything that Odin embodied back in his heyday. Oh my god, I can't wait to talk about my anime video. It'll come. We'll talk about it at another time. But it appeared as though Yamato had used a new ability that basically covered their body in like some sort of glass form in order to not receive any damage, which again showcases that there's a few tricks up Yamato's sleeve. Even though Yamato knew, like, I'm fighting Kaido, one of the strongest in the world. I believe in the Vivre cards, they actually confirmed this is the strongest creature in the One Piece world. So you're going up against that. On top of that, you're going up against your father, and you know what your father is capable of. Yeah, you're gonna throw every trick in the book, and then having that ability as well. It's going to be interesting moving forward, assuming that Yamato survives all of this shit, to see what else Yamato can freaking do. And it's not even just on the defense or, holding him off. Like, Yamato's actually doing some damage using a new attack. I believe it was called Himorogiri, and like knocking Kaido down to the ground. Like, yo, we actually doing a little bit of damage. I'm shocked that, like I've said before, that Yamato is even still standing at this point. I thought Yamato would have been long since gone, but I guess those Kaido genes are strong. Like, yeah, you're Odin, but you better thank those Kaido genes that you're still standing in this fight against Kaido right now. I'm just saying. And, because at the end of the day, Kaido, he's also fighting against his pride. Like I've been saying, I think a lot of it hurts that his child rather be identifying as the adversary that he freaking tricked and manipulated and did some bitch shit that we'll talk about again at another time. But I'm sure it must hurt him, so that's probably why he, as he's attacking again and again, keeps saying, you could go by any other name or anything like that, you still got my genes, fam, you still me, you still my seed, so you could say that you Odin, you could do all of that shit, but you're still my child, and that ain't gonna change. And it's crazy that Yamato's even getting in some strikes even while all that is going down. Like, oh, yo, Yamato greatness, baby. And Kaido, basically, he's even talking shit like, oh, you've always been lonely running around the castle. And Yamato says that's not true. I have friends, or I had a friend, and referring to like Ace. And man, I'm always gonna wonder what would have happened if Ace would have went up against Kaido. Part of me feels like, yo, well, we've seen what happened to him in the Marine Ford, even though that's a little unfair of a comparison. But nevertheless, like, I would have loved to see Ace throw a little bit down with him. But then again, like, if he wasn't able to take down Blackbeard, I doubt he would have been able to take down Kaido realistically by himself. No. Also, on top of the fact that if Whitebeard warned him against going up against Teach, against Blackbeard, what fucking chance in hell would he have been able to go up against a monster that's jumping from the heavens? You know what I'm saying? Now that I think about it, I mention that a lot because I feel like that is one of the most grand feats I've ever seen in the One Piece series. Literally jumping from miles in the sky all the way down and landing and crashing and being like, damn, man, that kind of hurt my head, but shit, I'm still alive. Like, that is an incredible feat, and that's why I always use that as like a measuring stick for Kaido. And Kaido likes to add insult to injury because he's like, oh yeah, you had a friend, but they died alongside with all the samurai, anybody that was nice to you, you know. Good old Pops was here to make sure they were done for. And we get a little backstory on where Jack came up with the idea of crucifying motherfuckers, because we see a flashback of Kaido basically crucifying and torturing and killing, executing anybody that was nice to Yamato, secretly feeding her or anything like that. He made sure to do that, and that's again probably where that was taken from for, you know, Jack when he did that shit back on Zoe and stuff like that. Like, oh Jack, you a little bit inspired by Kaido, you thought you were like Big Daddy, mate. But following that, Kaido pretty much knocks Yamato down and just starts beating the crap out of her. And yeah, Kaido pretty monstrous, honestly. Like I said, and I still stand by it, to be honest too. I feel like in Kaido's sick and twisted way, not that it's logical, not that it's like, hey, it's forgivable, justifiable, but by any means, but I still feel like somewhere in Kaido, he feels that he's doing this with a purpose of, I do care about my daughter, and this is how I'm teaching my child a lesson. Like, I do feel like that's a part of why Kaido is doing all of this. It's just that it's so fucked up, and it's like, yo, you're beating your kid, you fucking sicko, what's wrong with you? Because even as he's doing that, he's like, yo, you are the daughter of an Oni, you don't need friends, that's friendship is a sham, and he's just whipping that ass, and I'm like, god damn, Kaido, enough already, I get it. But we cut back to Luffy and Momonosuke, and a hilarious feat that Momo was finally off the ground, flying, but because again of the fear of heights, Momo has his eyes closed. That's hilarious. Yo, we're going into the final battle like this, you know what I'm saying? But it wouldn't be One Piece if it wasn't just some half-baked like Luffy going in crazy. But this time around, Luffy, if you think about it, he's met his match. Because normally it's like Luffy rushing in on some crazy shit, unprepared, just swinging arms and whipping ass and shit like that. Now Momonosuke is rushing in with his freaking eyes closed, flying because he's scared of heights. Like, you can't make this shit up. Only Oda can make this shit up, okay? And as they're approaching Onigashima, which they could have probably reached there in seconds because, again, Momo's a huge dragon and he's flying really quick. Yeah, because Momo's eyes are closed, he pretty much misses the entire rooftop, and Luffy's like, yo, what the fuck? Even Luffy is like, you know shit is real, shit is bad, shit is lopsided, when even Luffy is like, yo, what are you doing here? What's going on? Like, normally everybody's screaming that at Luffy, which is, again, hilarious and also shows a interesting twist of fate, which fate has started to really become a big presence in One Piece, because that's always Luffy, and the relationship and the dynamic between Luffy and Momo has always been like Luffy talking to Momo like a little kid, and Momo feeling almost like if like, oh, he'll never be anything like Luffy. Now he's doing some funny shit like Luffy. And because they missed their mark, Momo basically flies into like the main floor where everybody's at. You get to see everybody's reactions, and again, it feels like this was the best way Oda could do something like this, in terms of like having Luffy in one final hoorah go through the entire castle and see everybody as they're fighting, and kind of showcase like, yo, we're heading towards the climax. It's a visual representation of where the story is going right now, but it also makes sense and it isn't cheesy of like, hey, Luffy and Momo are just flying through for no freaking reason. No, it's because Momo's has his eyes closed and we're on some wacky, messy way to the top. So I like that it actually coincides perfectly with something that you would ideally like to see in a finale. Like, we're going through and seeing everybody one final time as we head towards the top. So I rock with it. It's freaking hilarious. I love it. And at the same time, it works very well. Like, Oda, One Piece, greatness. Because as they're flying, Momo feels a little bit dizzy, but then straightens up, and we even pass through Big Mom as Big Mom is fighting against Law and Kid. And yeah, just again, seeing everybody's freaking reactions, yeah, I would be like amazed, like, what the fuck is going on? What is this? Like, yo, I'm fighting this big bitch right here, like, what are you doing? And Big Mom is even confused because she's like, Kaido, what's going on? Even though, like, I don't know, is everybody in the One Piece world colorblind? Like, why would you think that's Kaido? Like, it's clearly pink. Like, have you ever seen Kaido to be pink? No, the motherfucker's blue. Why? And also, the hilarity of it is that apparently Momo got something in his eyes. Which he can't, like, you know, use his hands to wipe them out. So he's like, help me, Luffy, I can't see shit now. I got something in my eyes. Like, oh, man. Again, it also demonstrates something that was said and foreshadowed early on with Shinobu of that, yo, just because I'm gonna age you up, you're still gonna have the mind of a child. So this is all a demonstration, and all that was foreshadowed when Shinobu said that, like, this is still a kid. This is still, even though this is a giant dragon body, 28 years older than before, person, this is still a child in the mind that is navigating through this shit. So it's like, oh, help me, Luffy. Like, motherfucker, just move, do something. I don't know, but move your freaking eyes. And everybody in the castle is confused, saying like, yo, Master Kaido's wrecking the castle. What's going on? And other people are like, no, that can't be Master Kaido. It's a pink dragon. Yeah, the people that are saying that, you're using a little bit of logic that the other ones lack. And we cut back yet again to the Yamato versus Kaido fight. At this point, you could tell that thankfully they're reaching this point at the perfect moment, which, you know, you could say it's a little bit convenient there. A little criticism never hurt, you know what I'm saying? A little convenient there that Yamato looks like potentially they're at their wits' end, so to speak, because now they're no longer in that, you know, ancient form. Yamato's back to her normal form, her normal regular person form. But as she's charging, you can see in the background that Luffy and Momonosuke are approaching, which, nice timing, lad. And I ain't gonna lie, I love the fact that if there's one thing that could get Momo to act right, you know, get a little act right in him, is as Luffy's screaming, he's like, yo, but look, Kaido's over there, go after him. And then all of a sudden, Momo snaps out of the bullshit, out of the, oh, my eyes, Luffy, help me. Because, like, that vengeance, that, you know, I'm sure that memory had to have been traumatizing, right? And also ingrained into Momo's mind all those years ago when Kaido had Momo by the neck. And this is something that it really, oh my god, it was one of my favorite moments, and we're going to talk about it as we continue, of where Momo actually, you know, stood up for himself. But it probably was one of the biggest factors of what made Momo hate this motherfucker even more, of when he was choking him in the burning castle, and then he couldn't say his name, and he threw him onto the ground, and he flew away and shit like that. I'm imagining all of it on top of, you know, hey, you were responsible for the death of my father, you didn't play right, you're responsible for the destruction of Wano Kuni, you and Orochi, which, oh my god, I hope Orochi is still somewhere alive. Like, I hope there's still one more head of Orochi trying to slither away, and I want to see Momo stomp that motherfucker out. Oh, please, please, Orochi, still be alive, you little piece of worm shit. And the epicness, oh my god, the epicness of Yamato and Luffy. I don't think either one of them realized that they were next to each other right there. Both of them striking Kaido at the same time, and Kaido looking like he got fucked up right there. That shit was epic, because, you know, again, Yamato's at their wits' end. Like, Yamato really wasn't going to do much by himself at this point, but having that combo attack, imagine if there was some type of fusion. I'm just saying, I know that's some wild shit there, whatever, but just look at what their attack together did to him, which you got to imagine, again, Kaido got to be some type of worn out a little bit. I mean, how many fights have he had? He fought Luffy, he fought the Scabbards, he's fighting Yamato. Like, yeah, Kaido's been through some shit. Zoro, he probably is a little bit weakened than he would be at this point of his prime or anything like that, but fam, when they busted his head open, I wasn't mad at it. This shit look epic. And Luffy finally recognizes Yamato and is like, oh, you were holding him back for us. That's some great shit. Thank you. They did it. I'm like, yeah, you came in the nick of time, which it doesn't feel too convenient now that I think about it, right? Yamato reverted back to their normal, you know, regular human form or whatnot. Yamato's not there like, oh, you came at the nick of time. I was just about to fall over. So it still doesn't feel that convenient. Again, it's just right. Like, hey, I got knocked back into my human form. I don't know how much longer I could go, but it's not like, oh, you came as he was about to clobber me out of existence. So it doesn't feel that convenient now that I think about it. And we have a double dose of epicness, because first of all, Kaido transforms into his dragon form immediately. He's like, bitch, I'm King Kong in this motherfucker. I'm the only dragon king up in this bitch. Who is you? Because Kaido's just confused in general. Like, first of all, wait a minute. So not only did I just have like some crazy life or death battle with my child, but there's a giant dragon. I'm supposed to be the only giant dragon up in this bitch. Who is you? Also, Mugiwara, how did you even survive? Didn't I just throw your bitch ass off Onigashima a few minutes ago? Like, what is going on here? Like, I just imagine Kaido somewhere in a giant bed laying down talking to his therapist. So then the Straw Hat showed up. Kaido, yo, bitch ass going down, bro. And he's like, who is this dragon? Introduce yourself. And Luffy's like, hold up. Before that happens, I gotta just scream this one time in your face, bitch. I won't die no matter what, because I'm the man who's going to be king of the pirates, aka Kaiser Kuoni. Oh, and the epicness about it, right, is because, you know, we've heard Luffy say that literally over 1,000 times or some shit, right? Like, at this point, it's been said many of times. However, it was what happened after that that Luffy just screams that, which again adds all to why it needed to be Luffy and Momo, not just Luffy, because again, this is also a story of vengeance, also a story of, hey, taking back the throne for the Kozuki clan, because following that, Momo, which for me watching the anime recently, where that moment that I talked about earlier, Momo getting choked out by Kaido and being too scared to say, I'm Kozuki Momonosuke, you know, the person that's going to be the next shogun of Wano, him being scared and shit like that, and Kaido saying, I lost interest in you, and throwing him away like he was trash, on top of just having his father killed, his mother died, the castle burned down, his whole life came crumbling down in front of his eyes. To go from that to where we're at right here and what he says next, very, very powerful. Because he says, my name is Kozuki Momonosuke, the man who will become shogun of Wano. And that's incredible character development. That's what Luffy has been screaming at this kid all this time. Every time he's like, man up, quit crying, quit being a little biatch. And you know, a lot of people looked at Luffy like, yo, why are you being so harsh? He's just a kid. This is what he was trying to get him to. This is the point he was trying to push Momonosuke to be. Right here, this epic freaking moment, a back-to-back, I'm gonna be the Pirate King, I'm gonna be the Shogun of Wano. Similar to Roger and Oden, even though Oden really wasn't screaming that, but that's what Oden would be screaming if he was in that situation. And Yamato realizes, like, wait a minute, that's Momonosuke, the little kid I was just with a few chapters back talking about Ace and shit. What the fuck? But ending off the chapter, Kaido says, what a surprise. I know my Kaido laugh is terrible. I know. Shame me. What a surprise, that little boy, but the world doesn't need two dragons. And it ends off right there. Oh my god, what a godly chapter. What a hilarious chapter. A great chapter. Character development for days. Yamato epicness. Oh my god, I'm curious what you guys think. What did you think about this chapter? How did you feel about Momo? Again, a little kid trapped in the body of a, you know, I don't even know what would he be, like in his late 30s at this point, right? How old was Momo? 8, 10 or some shit like that? How do you feel about the way things went with this chapter? How did you feel about Yamato standing up to their father? How did you feel about that back-to-back, I'm gonna be the Pirate King, I'm gonna be the, you know, Shogun of Wano? And your overall thoughts and expectations, where the hell this is all going to go moving forward with 1026 and beyond. No chapter in the next issue of Jump. Very disappointing for that, but of course, Oda, get your break. You delivered another great one. You delivered another epic one that is again the climax of One Piece. This is the climax. This is the end game. I don't see no more. If Luffy gets thrown off of Onigashima again, if something happens to Luffy at this point, Momo better finish this. One of these motherfuckers better finish this shit. We're here now. It's time. One Piece greatness. I'm gonna keep on screaming it. I don't give a fuck. I love this shit. It's amazing. That's all I have for this one though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in. And yo, the world don't need two dragons. And Kaido, your bitch ass time better be up. Have an awesome one. By the way, just wanted to throw in a little mention right here real quick. The arrival and the way it looked, the epicness of Luffy on top of Momonosuke, that shit is iconic. That is an iconic moment that is going to live forever in One Piece. I can imagine that they're going to build statues. I'm not talking about literal life, I'm talking about like to sell, you know what I'm saying, figure statues of that shit. It looked iconic. That was amazing. That's going to be top memorable moment of Wano and of One Piece in general. Have an awesome one.
So just go to